On a busy street corner, an 85-year-old man sat on a folding chair. His fingers trembled, but the melody was steady. A worn-out acoustic guitar rested on his knee, scratched, faded, held together with tape. People walked past him like he was invisible. A group of teenagers stopped in front of him. Designer sneakers, expensive headphones, loud laughter. One of them kicked over the old man's tip jar. Coins scattered across the pavement. The old man flinched. "Seriously? That junk belongs in a dumpster." Another boy grabbed the guitar by the neck. "This thing? It's trash." The old man reached out. "Please, be careful. That guitar is older than you are." The teens burst into laughter. One of them raised the guitar high above his head and slammed it against the concrete. Crack! Dead silence. The woods split in two. The old man stared at the broken pieces in his hands. His lip trembled. "That was my life." A small crowd gathered, but no one stepped in. No one moved. The teenagers smirked. "Maybe now you'll get a real job, Grandpa." From the entrance of a luxury hotel across the street, someone stopped walking. Someone famous. Someone who had heard that melody before. The teenagers were still laughing. One of them nudged the broken pieces of the guitar with his shoe. "Guess the concert's over." The old man slowly bent down, kneeling on the cold pavement. He didn't shout, he didn't curse. He simply began picking up the splintered wood, carefully, like he was holding a wounded friend. "I've had this guitar since 1959. The teens rolled their eyes. "Cool story, Grandpa." A woman in the crowd whispered, "Someone should call the police." But no one stepped forward. The old man tried to fit the neck back into the body. His hands were shaking now, not from age, from heartbreak. She survived smoky bars, long nights, crowds that once sang along. He stopped, because there was no more neck to attach, just jagged wood. The leader of the group crouched down in front of him. "What? That piece of junk make you famous or something?" The old man looked up. For a second, there was something in his eyes. Not anger, not fear, memory. He opened his mouth, but before he could speak, a deep voice cut through the air. "That's enough." Dead silence. The teenagers froze. The crowd turned. Standing at the edge of the sidewalk was a man in sunglasses, leather jacket, silver rings, a face plastered on billboards worldwide. He took off his glasses slowly and stared at the old man, not with pity, with reverence. The old man looked back at him. Recognition flickered. The rock star stepped forward, each step heavy, intentional. The teenagers exchanged nervous glances. Isn't that—" The rock star walked straight past them, ignored them completely. And then he did something no one expected. He knelt, right there on the dirty pavement, in front of the broken guitar, in front of the trembling old man. He bowed his head. The crowd held its breath. The teenagers stared in confusion. The rock star remained on one knee, on the pavement, in front of the broken guitar. "Sir," his voice trembled, not with fear, with respect. He reached out and gently lifted one of the shattered pieces. His jaw tightened. Then he stood and turned to face the teenagers. "Do you have any idea what you just destroyed?" The boys shifted uncomfortably. One tried to laugh it off. "It's just some old guy's junk." Dead silence. The rock star slowly removed his jacket. The crowd began whispering. Phones came out. Someone gasped his name. He pointed to the old man. "This man This man taught Eric Clapton how to play. Shockwave silence. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Unbelievable. A woman dropped her coffee. One of the teenagers whispered, "No way." The rock star's voice grew stronger. When Eric was 16 and couldn't afford lessons, this old guy stayed after hours, for free. He turned toward the old man. His eyes were glossy now. And when I was 19, broke, sleeping in my car, he let me practice in his garage. The crowd stared at the trembling 85-year-old, not as a beggar, but as a legend. The rock star swallowed. You're not looking at a street performer. You're looking at the reason half of us ever picked up a guitar. The teenagers' faces drained of color. One of them slowly stepped back. The old man blinked in disbelief. You remembered. The rock star gave a small smile. I never forgot. And then he did something that would change everything. The rock star turned toward the crowd. Cameras were already recording. Millions would see this by morning. He gently took the broken guitar pieces from the old man's hands. Then he faced the teenagers. You laughed at him. You humiliated him. You destroyed something you didn't even try to understand. The leader of the group swallowed hard. We didn't know. That's the problem. The rock star stepped closer, not yelling, not threatening, but every word hit harder than a scream. Respect doesn't require knowledge. It requires character. The crowd murmured in agreement. One of the teens lowered his head. Another wiped sweat from his forehead. The rock star reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, dialed a number. Yeah, it's me. I need the best luthier in the state, right now. Pause, and send a camera crew tonight. The teenager's eyes widened. The rock star looked at them one last time. You didn't just break a guitar. Pause. You broke history. He turned back to the old man. Then, in front of everyone, he bowed again, lower this time, deeper. The crowd began clapping, slowly at first, then louder, stronger. The sound echoed down the street. The teenagers stood frozen, humiliated, not by revenge, but by truth. The rock star placed a hand on the old man's shoulder. Sir, would you honor me? He gestured toward the hotel entrance. A massive banner hung outside. Tonight, sold-out world tour. I want you on that stage with me. The old man's eyes filled with tears. For the first time that day, he smiled. That night, the arena was sold out. 50,000 people. Lights, smoke, thunderous applause. Backstage, an 85-year-old man stood quietly, wearing a simple pressed shirt. In his hands, a brand new acoustic guitar, custom made, his name engraved on the neck. He ran his fingers across the strings. They didn't tremble now. They remembered. The rock star walked beside him. No sunglasses, no ego, just gratitude. You gave the world more than you know. The old man smiled. I just taught kids how to listen. The stage manager signaled. It's time. The crowd roared as the rock star stepped into the spotlight. Then he raised his hand, and the arena fell silent. Tonight, before I play a single note, I want to introduce the man who taught legends how to hold a guitar. A spotlight moved, slowly, until it found the old man. He stepped forward. The crowd didn't cheer at first. They stood, in respect. Then the applause came, louder than anything before. The old man sat on a stool, placed the guitar on his knee, closed his eyes, and played. The same melody from the street corner, but this time no one walked past, no one laughed. 50,000 people listened, and some of them cried. Back on that street corner, the teenagers are watching the live stream on their phones, speechless. The leaders swallowed hard. He was that guy? No one answered, because now they understood. You never know who you're looking at. The old man finished the song. The arena erupted. The rock star leaned into the microphone one last time. Talent fades. Fame fades. Money fades. But respect is a choice. The old man looked out at the sea of lights. Not angry, not bitter, just proud. And somewhere inside that crowd, a young kid picked up a guitar for the first time. Fade to black. Fade to black. Never judge a story by its cover.